Hi guys, it's me Karen from Karen's Intuitive Jewelry. Hope you all had a great weekend. It's getting ready to storm pretty bad here. I'm in Florida. We need the rain badly. Anyway, I'm gonna do a little wire wrapping because I need to do some stuff in my recliner. Having kind of a tough day today with some weird pains. Don't know if you can hear that thunder, but my little dog sure can. She's like, oh no. What's that, Missy? She's gonna go try to hide. I don't give in to that kind of behavior with her. It's better not to coddle them, because that just reinforces it. I always go, yay, it's raining, yay. And she can come up, of course, but I don't give in to that trembling and shivering, and I just try to redirect her energy. Anyway, enough about my dog training tips. I'm gonna wrap this gorgeous carved Labradorite, and it's pretty thick, very thick actually, so I'm gonna have to use 4 wires, but isn't it a beauty? Love it. I've had this probably for a while. I had ordered, I gave this one Etsy shop a try, and they were pretty good. This is the only way I would order overseas, is that they have a hub, and I believe it was in Tennessee, but their manufacturing, or lapidary, or however you want to word that, is located in India, but they have, I guess, a warehouse or a hub in the US. So unless I'm requesting stuff that they don't already have in stock, it comes very quickly, and the prices were still really good, like overseas type prices. I want to say these maybe ended up being about, I don't know, $4 or $5 a stone, because I got a lot of them. A lot, not meaning quantity, but you know, a batch, a lot. Okay, enough rambling. I'm going to use 4 wires, 9 inches long, of the 21 gauge, square tarnish resistant copper wire from Parawire, and I'll be using the same gauge half round for the wrapping part of it. Starting just like any other time. This is always tricky, for me anyway. Using my Xuron tools, loving them. I deserved it. So again, just, you know, making sure that these base wires stay flat, because they always want to cross over, like you'll see is happening up here. And making sure this half round wire is also staying flat, because it does also like to twist. And of course we want the flat side of the half round to be up against the base wires. And we can worry about the ends later, but hope the lighting's okay. And this was just the tail end. I don't typically cut pieces off, but this was the tail end of a spool. So this will be the new spool. And I did place an order with them. I think a month or two ago. I think it was May. Maybe they were doing probably a Memorial Day sale. So because this is so thick, and I'm going to be, usually I like to do with the point down, and then you don't have to have too much for the point, but I'm going to be wrapping it this way because it looks like it's a flower, a lotus flower, so I want it, the wraps to be along here. And I want to be very mindful of where the etching is, the carving. I don't want to cover that up, so I'm just going to try and grab the stone right on the edges here. So I'm making this kind of wide at the bottom. So I'll continue this off camera. I used that whole piece, believe it or not, and I think it was just about perfect. So again, as you guys know, but for those who don't, when you're beginning and ending your wire, you want to have them on the same side. So this is where it began, and I want to make sure it ends there, because this part where the end piece will be up against the stone and hidden, as opposed to if it's on the outside, it could eventually snag on something or start to unravel or whatnot. So here's my new Xuron flush cutters. You don't want to cut this too short, but you don't want it too long. And see how I was talking about these pliers? It somehow catches the little pieces. I don't know how, if it's magnetized. Doesn't seem to be. Anyway, I don't know how that works. But then we'll push that down. We'll give this a quick little measure to make sure it's kind of in the middle. So if this was 9 inches, the center would be 4.5. And then we want the center of the center to be at 4.5. And it's not quite. It's a little bit too far up. It needs to come down about 1/2 inch. I know it's an optical illusion. Doesn't seem like it needs to come down, but it does. Okay, and then I always do my first squish, technical term, with the nylon jaw, and then give that a compression feel, not too hard because you could wonk it all out. And then I go back and give it a nice good another firm squish and make sure those ends are down. So you can see that. Okay. And then we're going to form it around this. Now sometimes you can use like the bottle of a nail polish bottle or whatever to help start this, because I have struggled with getting them even. Now this is a long base, so I shouldn't have really done that, should I have? Always try to find something that's about the same size, but that's okay. I'll just open it back up. But you get my drift. So we're going to start it that way. Let's get that back out of the way. And it's easier to do this on a flat surface. I have this little beading mat down here, but you can follow me, right? And try to keep that pretty centered, and keep these pretty flat. Now, because I'm doing it this way, I'm not really going to have, I don't really want too much space up here. Usually I'll put something there. I'll just give that a little bend. Bring this over. And give that a little bend. So we have something like this. All right, and then we'll go ahead and start on the bail. That looks pretty good. And we'll get this started again using the same principle. The flat part of the half round goes up against the base wires. And then I like to bring the tail end through. And give it a little tug. Now I will end up flipping it this way because this little tail I like on the front end so I can hide it, not so much in the back. But I didn't want to waste any. So I'm going to give this whole piece one more wrap. And then I'm going to find all the wires and separate them out. And I have to do that off screen because I have to bring this up to my face. And you can see they're trying to twist or cross over, not so much twist. And especially when you have 4. I don't know if you can see that. But you just have to be mindful because you want these to remain lying very flat. So let me do that. Okay, so I found the 4 front wires, separated the back 2 wires, and like the 3rd wire in 1, 2, and the 3rd one will be the bail. So they will lay side by side and we'll continue wrapping the bail. And always turn your piece. When you're working with just round wires, you don't have to turn your piece. You can just whip your wire around, around, around. But when you have the half round, it will have a tendency to start to twist if you're not careful. So you want to always kind of be feeling what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to continue this. And I'm going to make this just a little under 1 inch because this is a pretty small stone, so I don't want a real big bail. And same thing, I'm going to cut it off so it's going to be on the back. Make sure that's laying. Whoops. Laying flat up against the wire. Make sure these are nice and compressed. Be careful because I've wonked that all out. We'll smush that down a little bit. And then a more secure smush, same as when you're doing the attaching. And that's the front. That's also a good indicator. I haven't snipped that wire off yet. So we're going to push this forward a little and then form this. Now we didn't leave any room to tuck this in, so this is going to be just on the back. And you can always use your step bail making pliers. It'll be something like that. Let's go ahead and put the stone in and see. Actually, we might have room to push it through the front. Yeah, I think so. Barely enough room. So I'm going to do that. So it'll make for a nicer finish. Cut a little bit off here. Get these out of the way a little. Cut this off. I am enjoying these tools, that's for sure. Make sure that's stuck up in there. right? You know the deal, how I do this. We'll cut this off, leave a little tail, tuck it in, punch it down. So let me do that. Plus I have to turn my ceiling fan on. I'm starting to sweat. And got that done and got those both those ends tucked away. So these back ones are going to be decorative. We've got 4 decorative on the front. And we're going to lock the stone in now. I always start it with my fingernail to pull it out of the way. And just bend that a little bit that way. That's why your nails get all messed up. Okay, that's the back. Let's see how thick this is. So we'll separate that out a little. This, and then I'm just going to try and pull this front just a little. Just these a little. You can always use the padded part of your pliers to push things down, right? Snugly, more snugly up against the stone, because this is so thick. Something like that. And we will adjust this a little bit better. Let me do that so I can see. So, after considering, I think this is going to be easier and probably more effective if I cut these 2 back ones off. I won't cut them off totally yet, but I'm gonna make them short. And you want to finagle with that wire before you cut it, so it will lay flatter. Make sure you're not cutting the wrong wires. Done that before. Just turn the end a little bit so it'll tuck away in there. And you can also just pinch that end too so it isn't sharp. You don't want any pokey bits, right? Okay. And because it's such a cool stone, I don't want too much going on in the way of swirls or anything. But I am going to twist, let's see, twist this outside one. And let me do all this decorating part. I'll try to add a little of this. Well, here's the final piece, guys, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to show you. That is a downfall of bad eyesight. I'm so sorry. I don't know how much you can learn if you can't see all the fine details that I do, but I'll try to explain it. I just did a couple spirals, one going up, one going down. The challenge for this very thick stone was the security of the stone not coming mostly out of the front, because the back held it in pretty well, but the front was still a little iffy up top here. So I had to squeeze these two wires quite a bit more than what I wanted to, but it's not coming out now. So at least I was successful in securing it. It maybe wasn't the look I was going for, but it is a gorgeous stone, and I will finagle with these little spirals a bit more to get them to lay a little bit better. But like I said, I'm really not all that experienced, so you guys can certainly see. I've only been making these types of wire wraps for about maybe 2.5 years now, and it's definitely still a challenge for me in a lot of ways. That's why I stick to the more simple types of wraps. I do it because I love it. And isn't that still, it's gorgeous. I'll have a hard time parting with this one. So he'll probably stick around so I can show him off the little bit I do get out. And then he'll either go up on Etsy or into the local shop. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to do a few more wire wraps the next couple weeks to balance out my inventory. Okay, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you. Till next time.